What's up, world, and welcome back to the Global Frequency. I am your host, Nefarious, and today we are joined by Scott Wilke, here to tell us about two new comic book crowdfunding campaigns, HyperGeist #1 and Dead End Moon numbers 1 and 2, currently available on Kickstarter. Scott, welcome to the show.
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Last time you were here, you were peddling a book called Periwinkle. It was about a Christmas elf on a mission of murder. One of Santa's little helpers hoping to help himself to a heaping helping of revenge for the murder of his former master by singing a sleighing song and crossing Krampus off his naughty list. What have you been up to since then?
A lot, thankfully. I've somehow tricked Lee Giles and Mike Teener into letting me write their books. So I've got Red Scare #1. That one's done. It's actually getting out to backers as we speak. Red Scare #2 we're starting to work on here shortly. Been doing Dead End Moon. 2's out. It's on Kickstarter. 3 I've got scripted. And then HyperGeist is the newest one that I've gotten the pleasure to jump in on. And there's a little unusual story with that one, some challenges with it, but yeah, it's been a ride this year.
We can't wait to hear all about the juicy gossip. I mean, the serious discussions about the concerns in the trade and the craft of making comic books.
We have Rice Krispies audio. Make sure that it didn't switch back to your headset, and then it's still on the Yeti for
okay.
Audio.
Thought it sounded a little funny.
Yeti. It's Yeti.
What's going on with the Yeti?
I don't know.
Yeti spaghetti. Weird. All right. Well, sorry guys, we're gonna be a little
have any professionalism on this show whatsoever. Never.
You sound better now.
Before we go any further, let's say hello to everybody in the chat. We got Armin saying he's first. He's not really first. We already know.
He was first today. He really was.
Is that 3 in a row? I've let Armin win now, or is that just 2? See, D-Wag was already here. He was lurking, waiting for Armin to say first. So, he wasn't first. We got Mo Biggs, as usual. Glad to have you here. We got Hockey, good day. Great Hat Caper fundraiser here on this channel in 5 days. It's going to be an awesome time. Can't wait. We got Jay Burns. Bring on the Swilky one. Bad Bug taking over 2022. Indeed. You guys have a great catalog.
Guys been knocking it out of the park.
Get enough. We got Maddie Fowler with us. I don't know. Should we send him the link? We should send him the link.
Always send him.
We got Sean Butler as well. Woo! Scott Wilke is my hero. Oh, so,
I love Sean. Sean and Jay. I love them.
Definitely have some admirers. And of course, then we have Robot, terrible reception, and everything goes downhill from here.
Yay.
Awesome. So, back to Periwinkle real quick. How did that campaign turn out for you? Were you happy with its performance?
It turned out well, yeah. Considering when we launched it, we knew we were up against it in that October-November timeframe. Well, actually, November-December timeframe. So that's kind of the dead zone for Kickstarters, so we knew we were taking a chance, and it came out, I think, at 13, around there. So I was pleasantly surprised, because we thought it would... Mike and I were talking, we're like, if this fails, what's plan B? So we're glad we didn't have to jump into plan B. But I appreciate backers like you guys. It's really supporting it and really giving it that leverage that it needed. And I'm happy to say the pages are insane. It's a little behind schedule just because Arturo is putting so much detail in each panel. It's almost tear-inducing how much this, like, he puts all these little like Easter eggs in it. It's something to behold for sure. So, but it's almost done.
Scheduled for September or a little bit later, December.
It's looking like maybe
if you get it to us by December, that's actually a good thing because it's a Christmas book, right? Like, I wouldn't mind holding off for a couple months,
right?
To get it on Christmas.
That's what it's looking like right now because
I'll have an axe for Christmas.
Yeah, I'm working on your axe right now. It's looking crisp.
Nice.
So I'm excited to have you guys. I want to.
Right?
Yeah, we want to do a whole unboxing video with you guys. So hopefully we can get that set up.
Yeah,
we should do it. Yeah.
That'd be awesome. Definitely.
Yeah. Plan B was take the axe to the mall and make up the amount.
Make up the difference.
Yeah, make up the lost amount. So,
Jay Burns says, Jenna says hello too, and then can't wait for Periwinkle. Sean Butler says Periwinkle is going to be a beautiful book. We have Dean James.
Hey, what's up, Dean? Don't forget to go support Dean's cover on Aquila, which is being drawn by the artist
who is on
HyperGeist.
That's right.
The artist Kari
is
actually doing Aquila, which is the book that Dean James has got a cover for.
So apparently the
audio sounded a little off again.
Wonky again. Mobic says that you poured some milk in the mic.
I don't drink milk.
He wants to know what's wrong with it. We also have
give me a second.
Adams band, bro.
Is this the mic and that's the camera?
Yes.
This is the mic?
Yes.
Just gotta go old school NES and blow into the cartridge. Yeah, we're not hearing you guys. So what do you do with Man with Super Hat? For fun or for professional? I'm a risk manager at a hospital professionally. So I enjoy the right brain, left brain that writing gives me. So as soon as that 5 o'clock hits, I'm writing scripts, and so. Oh, I think we got some sound. That sounds better.
Do we work?
You guys sound better.
Did that work?
Awesome.
Excellent.
I think so.
Yeah, you're right. Old Nintendo cartridge trick, right?
Sign language would help about now. It would. If I can I can do the alphabet. That's about it. It would take me a very long time to say it.
We got Jake Adams coming in here throwing shade. Where have you been for what 4 months, bruh? Come on now, come on.
See, so our chat is awesome because they're asking the questions first. So Dean asked what Scott did. And enlightened the other members of the chat. And Sean Butler wants to know, how did HyperGeist come about, and what are the biggest influences for your work?
I'm disappointed that Mo didn't ask his favorite question.
I think he was waiting for you to. Oh, I guess we can just learn to read lips.
Sounds like we might have some audio. Yeah, the audio's gone. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
Gotta love it.
I guess we gotta get a new mic.
No, we just have to reboot everything. Hold on.
Okay. No, you can't.
I can't
do that. I don't think.
Can't switch over to you.
Try. Oh, we could try. We'll try. We're gonna try.
What up? It's just me.
So I didn't realize that Neff meant that he was pulling the video out as well, so that caught me by surprise. He's restarting his computer.
Not a
Mo
problem.
says to send Hockey or Dean the link and let them host while you reboot.
Do it.
Sure.
I got it.
I will totally do that. I think Neff is on it. He said he's doing it. Wow, Neff, you look good. Yes, you can hear me now. I mean, you can technically hear Neff too, but he's not saying anything. Mo says, I bet Scott didn't factor these audio issues into the risk management of appearing on this show.
I did. I didn't do a risk assessment beforehand.
Yeah,
no.
we're really, having some
screen
trouble
won't
today.
load.
Sorry about that. So why don't we go back to the questions in the chat and ask,
Sounds good.
what were some of the biggest influences for your work, Scott?
Oh boy.
Hold on, I can't hear you.
Let me know when you
Give
can.
me your headphones.
Can you?
I forgot that
Can you log into that?
my headphones were connected to Neff's computer. I'm just gonna let you talk. So you answer the question, and I will hopefully
for sure.
hear you
Sure.
at some point.
Yeah, I mean, as far as influences go, and I've talked to Mike about this too. We're big influenced by like summer blockbusters. We grew up with, I think my favorite movie of all time is The Mummy. So stuff like that. I do like the more intense kind of stories or mind effery ones. I love Inception, like the first season of Westworld, stuff like that. I like that kind of you're not sure where the heck it's going type of thing. Comics wise, it's a running joke in Bad Bug. I'm a big Cullen Bunn fan, probably a little bit of a fangirl. So comics wise, I think he's one of my big inspirations. Six Gun is my all-time favorite comic series. Trying to think some other inspirations. Yeah, I mean, I originally went for I majored in writing, and then I minored in film production. So my dream was to go to Hollywood. That didn't pan out. I ended up in Phoenix, Arizona, which is fine. It's just really freaking hot, but it's not that far from Hollywood, but far enough. But I think I found my medium in comics. Film's awesome. I would love to write for film one day, but I'm very much content doing what I'm doing now. So long and short, that's my inspirations.
Very nice.
How are we sounding?
Sound good now.
Sounding better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Hopefully it stays that way. We'll see what happens.
All right, let me get back to the interview, which of course just disappeared. So, why don't you tell us where you got the idea? Did he already tell us where you got the idea for HyperGeist?
No, we were talking about his influences.
Okay. Well, I want to talk about his projects.
Yeah.
So, while I bring up the other questions that I have all about Bad Bug Media and William Tenner and how you guys work on your projects together, why don't you at least tell us where you got the idea for HyperGeist?
Unfortunately, with both these titles, I can't take any credit for the inception of the idea, the creation of the idea. Those were all Dead End Moon was actually Mike and his wife Alice Teener's idea, a genius idea as well. And then HyperGeist again was a brainchild of Mike. HyperGeist was I was fortunate in that Mike is so swamped with running Bad Bug and the multiple titles that they got going on right now that he had to turn over the reins to someone, and I'm fortunate enough that he trusted me with it. So yeah, I can't take credit. I wish I could, because I love, especially Dead End Moon. I mean, that one's particularly close to the heart because I love westerns. I love supernatural stories. I was in the initial conversations with Mike and Alice and Gwen. We spent multiple weeks kind of sculpting out the mythos, the legends behind it all. So I was part of that, but as far as the original idea, that wasn't me.
All right. So when you came on board, though, they kind of had developed the idea for a story, and you took lead writing the script, right?
Correct. Yeah. So Dead End Moon, Mike had like 5 pages done of a rough kind of proof of concept that he forwarded to me, and I injected myself into it because I'm like, it'd be cool if you did this or that and this and that. And then eventually when it came time to write the script, he's like, do you just want to take it? I was like, please and thank you. HyperGeist was unusual in that there was about 8 pages already done of it. And then Mike again got swamped with running a freaking company like Bad Bug. So he's like, "Can I just hand this over to you? I trust you." And I was like, "Yeah, again, please and thank you."
And that's awesome. You've been tackling, several different titles at Bad Bug, right? These are not nearly amongst like the other stuff that you've worked on. You've worked on a number of other things as well. You did Undercity Tales. You did the aforementioned Periwinkle. You did Everett Forge. All those are past titles, and you've got titles coming up in the future, right? We were just talking backstage a little bit about those. What you got coming down the pipe?
Yeah, we got Red Scare #1. That's with the other publisher I work with that has Everett Forge, and that title Lee Giles created it. It's called Red Scare. So #1's done. It's funded. It's getting out to backers. I just saw some pictures posted on Facebook about a minute ago. And then I've already got it scripted out for 2, so that's sent off to Flavio, the artist. So he's starting up some concept art and starting the pages as well for that one. So, yeah, and then I got another title. Arturo, who's doing Periwinkle, he's a genius, and I love everything he produces. So I'm trying to keep him busy and kind of keep him, my artist that I can call upon. So I got another title that it's going to be called Cupid, about obviously Cupid. So we're going to probably just run right from Periwinkle into Cupid. We'll make sure that most of the book is done though before we try to get to a crowdfunding point. But Arturo's already got ideas running for concept art for Periwinkle or for Cupid. So we're very excited to see where that goes.
So, how did you and Mike team up over at Bad Bug, and what's it like signing on with a publisher / producer? What's the arrangement, and what are the responsibilities when it comes to the production of books?
Yeah, I ran into Mike because his very first comic title he ever did was Dragonfly, and I was doing Everett Forge around the same time. My campaign bombed horribly in magnificent fashion. Dragonfly did well, so I was kind of picking his brain as far as like what he did, because we just got talking through Kickstarter and then we became friends on Facebook. So I was picking his brain, and as time went on, he brought up the idea of Bad Bug. He's like, one day I want to just run my own publishing house, and I was very much for that. Then we started working on Undercity Tales, and constantly kind of kept in his ear about Bad Bug. I'm like, hey, we need to do that, dude. But yeah, I've just been riding his coattails since 2015, 2016. And as long as he doesn't kick me off those coattails, I'll stay there.
Well, it sounds like you know a good thing when you have it and you're willing to put in the work, which, that's a good partnership right there. Yeah. So when he gets a story idea, I guess he develops a story idea either with his wife or with someone else or with you. Then you guys go to, I guess, the outlining stage. Do you collaborate about how you want the issue to play out and then go to the script writing stage? Or does he just go, elves murder Krampus, go? How does it work?
We've really blossomed within the last year. Yeah, Periwinkle much worked in that fashion. Private messages between me and Mike. Mike heard the original concept for Periwinkle and was on my butt for a year plus. Like, where's the script? Where's the script? Where's the script? Where's the script? I sent him, a couple versions. I appreciated how, kind of, he didn't hold back. We'll just say that. So I went through a couple of script iterations till I finally found the one that we're producing right now. But nowadays, we've really added on to the team. So it does play out that way. It's, a Bad Bug member will bring a script. We have different chats. We have script review chats, etc. So they'll bring a script to the table. We'll review it, see what's strong, what's weak, how we can help each other. It's very much a collaborative effort. Bill Stoddard, Chris Jerome. Chris Jerome brought Discordia. and Rotted Liar to Bad Bug, so he's been instrumental in like looking at the new stuff. Bill's got some projects underway. We have amazing talent like Dave Lenz. That's like he kind of sits on the sideline, but like weighs in on everything, and he's pretty dang professional. And it's great to have his insight in it. So yeah, it's a very much team, family-oriented little thing we got going on over there that I love. I live for the Bad Bug chats because they're either productive or they're hilarious.
Yeah, you guys go off on like crazy tangents where you start talking about all sorts of other stuff, and you realize you've been talking for an hour, but not about the thing you were supposed to talk about. Yeah, when I talk to my writers, it's very much the same way.
Even Odin can go off for like 8 hours.
He ruins my productivity sometimes, I swear to God.
Yeah, for sure.
But so we are big fans of Bad Bug here at the Frequency, and we've had Alan Dunford on to promote Hocus Hocus, his book, which kind of blends magic and horror and satire. And Periwinkle hit some of the same notes, but these books that we're looking at now, they hit a whole series of different notes. So is there a brand at Bad Bug? Are you moving in a particular direction, or is it just diversified voices at this point?
It's really diversified voices, but now we've established a brand between Bad Bug and then Bad Bug Mature. So we have like Vanya, HyperGeist is going to fall under that as well. That are the more mature, the erotic tales. So
I mean, I gotta say, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but you guys missed the opportunity to call it Batter Bug. Like, what's up with that, man?
I suggested that in the chat. I'll let you know. I'm glad great minds think alike. That's what I said.
Right? Just call it Batter Bug.
Yeah.
And you can make the R like the rated R symbol for movies.
Oh,
you need Neff on your branding team, man.
We're gonna steal that idea. No,
you need me on your branding. I'm telling you, man. I'm a gold mine.
Let's do it, man. No, that's a good idea. But yeah, that's other than our mature kind of branch, it's just as Mike always said, it's wild and crazy, wild and fun rides. So whatever falls within wild and fun is Bad Bug covered. So.
That's awesome. It really does seem like a brand that's just stepping up and firing on all cylinders. You guys have an excellent catalog. And, Alan may be really busy, and that, he may be handing off projects to you left and right, which you seem to be very capable handling and, not having any sort of problem falling behind the 8 ball, just cranking out the scripts. But that must mean he's incredibly busy on the other front. So how does the sausage get made from what you know of what goes on? Like you said, a couple people were coming over to Bad Bug and bringing their projects with them. Does he enter into like contractual negotiations about publishing the work through Bad Bug, and they retain IP, do their writing? You go to negotiate like a revenue split and then residuals or royalties on the back end? Like, how's the sausage work from one aspiring publisher to a guy writing and working for another publisher? Do you feel comfortable talking about that?
Yeah, as much as I can. I don't know the true inner workings of contracts between Mike and the team. I do know he is very much just about getting... He's a great guy in that he's just trying to get enough people to see our works. You do remain... The IP remains yours. It's not property of Bad Bug. As far as splits, I can't speak to that because I'm not 100% on what he's got worked out with everyone. We need to get him on the show, honestly, because
I would love to have him on, man.
Absolutely.
I've been like tapping my foot impatiently.
We'll hound him enough that he jumps on. But yeah, he can speak better to that piece. But I mean, Periwinkle, I think that was really kind of the spark, because like that came before a lot of these other titles, and so I think he's still trying to find, we're all still trying to find exactly how this fits. But right now you're free to take your titles elsewhere. I know, like, Alan's now with he moved Focus over to Source Point, and it's just that collaborative effort again of it's almost just like a friend group, a family group. I mean, we're honestly just here to help each other, boast each other's work, elevate each other to the next step, whatever that looks like. But yeah, as far as like money and stuff though, I stay out of that part. I just write. I don't like math.
I'm
I
right.
fed him lunch. I grilled hot dogs for him, so he had lunch.
I did. I had lunch. I can't stop with food metaphors, man. They're infectious. Never get sick of them. Can't be filled up. So, are any of the IPs that you work on your IPs that you're curating and writing scripts for, or are you just kind of like in-house writing and covering all the bases?
Periwinkle is the only one I got at Bad Bug currently. I'll bring Cupid to that to Bad Bug as well. Everett Forge at About Time Comics, that's mine. But other than that, yeah, I mean, Red Scares, Lee's, Dead End Moon, HyperGeist, Undercity Tales, and then there's another title that I've written. It's halfway done, basically, called Monster World. Is also going to fall under Bad Bug, and that was again another one of Mike's ideas. So, but we're not quite to the point where that's going to go crowdfunded. So yeah, I just. Like I said, I lurk in the shadows, and then if someone, and then I jump, and somehow I end up as a writer. So,
superhero writer. You know, you got an alternate identity, right? His secret identity is Ballpoint Man. So let me just say hey to Will real quick. I don't know if we got to him. We also got Phoenix Animation, the Metalsmith, with us here in the chat. We got Armin Nassim, one of the fastest growing indie comics crowdfunding creators out there. He is doing 12 titles this year. He is on track so far. He's put out so many books. We're so excited to have him with us. We've also got Mr. Where's Ape? I didn't see Ape. I was going to say Arvid. We've got Arvid with us from Crowfire Studios. So glad to have you with us, man. And I didn't see Ape. Is he at the bottom?
He's up there.
We've also got Eric the Guapo, the handsomest man in CG.
We had Hex. We had Hex.
Yep. And I don't know where Ape went. I'll take your word that he was here.
Hello, Freq Girl.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, I mean, you have it highlighted. I certainly don't.
No.
Yeah, we were going to talk about that. So, HyperGeist is very different from Periwinkle, obviously. It is, do you want to bring up the campaign page so we can show everybody exactly how different from Periwinkle we're talking? Did you bring on Kari, or was that Alan's...
We're doing HyperGeist first?
Yeah, because it's the new one.
Well, I mean they're both... HyperGeist and Dead End Moon.
Dead End Moon has already been out. They've already had one issue of Dead End Moon crowdfunding. We haven't talked at all about HyperGeist. And this book is just blowing up all over the place. It's all over everyone's face. You know what I mean? Like, this book is killing it. So the idea for this, it might not have come from you, but in writing this, you've had to, like, tap into the story and draw out a script. So what was that like? Was Kari your pick? Let us know about what went on behind the scenes here.
Yeah, I can't take credit for any of the good stuff. Kari, AZ Volt, the whole team. Again, I think Mike Tiener's amazing at pairing up the right artist with the right colorist. So that was all done. Like I mentioned, about 8 pages were already done up, proof of concept style. And Mike, again, just got swamped and then asked if I wanted to take it over. I loved the concept, very much playing into the free will android thing, like Westworld Season 1. So I was very much into it. And again, sitting on the sidelines, Mike would show us concept art on the Bad Bug chat, and I'd sideline be like, hey, it'd be cool if you did this, this, and that. So yeah, he reached out to me. He's like, dude, I can't right now. Can you tackle this one? I drafted up a script, I think in a couple days, sent it over to him. He's like, all right, let's roll. And that's what we're working on right now. I'm seeing the inks come through right now from Kari. It's bonkers. The attention to detail.
Yeah, her work is crazy good.
Yeah.
And she's fast. She's pro, man. It's a lot of fun working with Kari. I love the color work. The color work is exciting. Yeah. Now, the campaign is blowing up, obviously. It's got one of the highest totals of the Bad Bug titles that I've seen scrolling through the list of stuff that you guys have put out. What do you attribute that, success? Why do you think that this title has been performing so well?
Boobs.
The man said it. The man said it. He does not lie, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody loves
right
the
there on
like,
the screen, the boobies and the booties.
And they're gorgeous. I mean, these women are drawn so damn well. They are just stunning. They're knockouts. They're knockers or knocking. And all right, right. So
I mean, but ultimately beyond that, because I know, like, yeah, right. Like Vanya too. I mean, Vanya I think has the title. I think that came in at 29, and that's a far departure because that takes place in like prehistoric times. So this, I think, just the appeal of that, you know, Neo Tokyo, the cyberpunk genre, a beautiful looking woman, beautiful art, beautiful colors, beautiful line art. It's all just a winning package. But at the end, I mean, you got a butt right there, so that's all you need.
Yeah, I mean that is really all you need. Are you going to throw down with Merc and take on like Miss Meow and see if you guys can run those numbers?
There was one of your covers that it's very Tyndall-esque,
very
like
yeah.
Good stuff, man. I mean, like that's the level to be competing at.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like that is the level to aspire. Look at that! Damn!
Isn't that a beauty? And like I didn't notice at first, but Mike, during one of our last interviews, she's digitizing in front of us. So if you see like right below that for the leg that's established, the leg's coming out as a
it's like a blur. Yeah, I see
it.
Yeah.
Just like subtle work like that, it's just genius.
It's very cool, and the colors on this are fantastic. Really super nailed the whole cyberpunk aesthetic. Like, so good.
So we all want to know, what's it about? Who's the protagonist? Who are the antagonists? What's the conflict? What are the stakes? That kind of thing. Are we talking Ghost in the Shell? Is there like a rash of crazy murders where a hacker's hacking into sex bots and frying brains? Like, what's the deal?
Yeah, well, our protagonist is this beauty right here. Her name is June, and it takes place in 2108. So essentially, androids pretty much outnumber humans, and they each serve different roles. June's particular design or purpose is pleasure. She's a pleasure android, very customizable in the type of pleasure she can provide. And what she's looking for is this mythical drive that can essentially give an android free will. It's called the hypergeist. So that's kind of, we find her in the midst of that pursuit to find that drive. As far as anything beyond that, I hate to like spoil it, so I'll refrain from saying too much. But and it's got that nice mix of erotic and cyberpunk sci-fi. So if you like both those worlds, you're gonna find plenty to like in here.
Yeah, Will's got it right. #sexbot. That's pretty much what we're what we're talking about. We got the Frog with us. What is up, Frog G? Thank you so much.
What up?
There's Arrogant Ape again. Breasts.
Breasts.
Man, that's what I'm talking about. We got Josh with us. Raiden Radio. He said something funny before. I don't know where it went.
It's up here. I say, Mobig says, leave it to Neff to swerve the conversation into Neo Weeptown.
That's not my fault, man. It's an obvious visual influence here. I mean, yeah, you know, but it's the good stuff. You draw off the good stuff and you drop the stuff that doesn't work, right?
We're not.
This sex spot hotter than July in the UK.
I was gonna say what Josh said that was funny was
right.
RJ said that he likes how I was cosplaying, which it just happens that
the hair.
I did it on purpose, sure.
Totally on purpose.
And Josh said RJ should do that.
We can't see you. You're the better half, so you know. Yeah, I would love to see RJ.
I think he can pull off the pink hair. I think he can do
the pink pigtails, but he's also got to stuff his shirt, you know. So.
Well, that's true. That's true.
Why are you scooting away? Do I smell that bad?
Yes. No, okay. I'm joking.
So
I'm scooting in, not over.
So, all right, why don't you tell us about the other book, the Dead End Moon? That's issue number 2. Now, number 1, it popped off pretty well too. Once again, looking at pretty ladies, but this time in more of a wild westernly fashion. What's the deal with Dead End Moon?
Dead End Moon, and I I think Mike was a little upset because originally that was our attempt at a booby comic. Initially, right off the bat, that was the whole premise. I ended up maybe putting too much story into it, so it deviated a little too far from. But what came from it was a really robust story and a really unique one at that. And I personally think, and as I mentioned earlier, this one's very near and dear to my heart. I think it's one of the best and favorite things I've ever written. But it takes place, the main character, her name is Maggie Dean, also known as Magpie, and she is a bounty hunter, a supernatural bounty hunter. She's partly cursed by this entity called the Dead End Moon, and as part of her curse, she needs to hunt supernatural beings for bounty. So the first episode, or first issue rather, excuse me, she's hunting a warg. She uses a gentleman as bait because wargs are attracted to fear. And then that bounty, or that bait, so to speak, that she used, his name is Jack, and now he accompanies her on her journey as a ghost, and almost a Jiminy Cricket type of character.
Is he already dead? So he dies?
He dies, yeah.
Yeah, it's excellent.
So yeah, he's so you can see him here in this shot. He's anything Dead and Moon related or supernatural related comes off as a purple. We were went back and forth early on what kind of colors we wanted to use, and purple just really appealed to us. So that character that's being drawn by horses, that's the Dead and Moon's messenger. So he's delivering a bounty to her right now that she's got to pick up. So yeah, the ghost, he's probably one of my favorite characters, right? He's a very nervous character, so he's got a bit of a stutter, but he's morally ambiguous, and I love that he's almost like her moral compass at times, because she's very much not a true hero. She's an anti-hero through and through. But yeah, her main goal is she's pursuing a man named the Dead Man, who killed her father. So that's her ultimate goal. She's using the Dead End Moon as a way to kind of leverage or balance the scales, because with it comes enchanted guns, her horse, which you're about to see here. When after the sun stops hitting it, it turns into an ethereal. It's got hellfire on its manes. So all that came with the curse, but with the curse, time also slows down for her, and she's in constant excruciating pain. So she's very much a troubled character.
I love how you can really just dive into the nuanced elements of the character dynamics in the book, and just the general arc and overview, the direction that the story's taking of Dead End Moon, and just not a word about HyperGeist. Just not a word. You know what I mean? He's all like, let's keep him in surprise. Let's give him like the tiniest little crumbs. And here he is just like breaking down the inner turmoil.
There's already an issue 1 of Dead Moon that's been out, so
right. I understand. He doesn't want to spoil it. I get
they already
it.
have an idea.
Earlier, Sean Butler said that cover G is his favorite. Can you find cover G for us so that we'll scroll through all of them, but eventually I'd like to take a look at cover G. And Mo said, Dead End Moon is going to face some serious competition when Dean's dad enters the indie comic scene with his new book, Deadbeat Son. I love it. I love it, yeah. Another gorgeous book. Every one of Scott's books has some of the best art to complement amazing storytelling. Once again, I want to know, where do you find these wonderful artists, right? They're not. G is good. G is very good. Where do you find them? Or is that something that Will Teener is kind of, Tenor. Is it? I thought it was Teener. I don't know how to.
Teener, yeah.
Tina. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was tenor. Look at me correcting you, and I'm wrong. Sorry.
I mean,
I really thought you said tenor before.
Is that kind of like his portfolio rather than yours? Like, how do you guys find these artists?
Yeah, Mike is. I don't know how he does it. He's got almost like a sixth sense for art. Yeah. Instagram,
Instagram.
He's the one that connected me with Arturo actually for Periwinkle, because I struggled. I had a couple different artists for Periwinkle. One bailed. I was very disheartened after that one bailed because we had like 3 pages done, and I was liking where the direction was. Mike sent me over an Instagram for Arturo. He's like, "Have you checked this guy out?" And I mean, and here we are with Periwinkle. I don't know how he does it. He won't give the code. He won't give the secret recipe on how he finds these. He's just got a sixth sense, and he's good at pairing up people too. He knows what color complements what style, line art, etc. But yeah, I'm not very interesting when it comes to that portion of it because he's already done the hard work by the time I get on the scene.
So I have a question that's probably going to derail all of this. I'm scrolling through, looking at all of your covers and just kind of the aesthetic and the character design. I get a very Lady Mechanica vibe from it. Do you are you familiar with Lady Mechanica or like Joe Benitez? Was that like any? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big steampunk fan. One of my first comic that I ever wrote was a steampunk western. So yeah, Lady Mechanica, very near and dear. So that's why when Mike and Alice brought up the idea, I said early on, I'm like, can I just be like a creative consultant? I just wanted to be some part of it, whatever part it was, because it did pull from those influences. So yeah.
Yep. Very, very cool. Yeah, I'm digging it.
RJ says, notice that there are 2 Dead End Moon books and 2 HyperGeist books that have matching covers. He's so astute.
He is.
He really is.
So good. I know, yeah. That's another I'm assuming he's probably talking about the roller derby ones. But that's a whole series that Mike tapped into, so I think it's down a bit.
That was down, right? Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, I feel like that was...
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, that one.
Yep. So I love that. Those roller derby. So there's going to be, with all the titles like Vanya, HyperGeist, Dead End Moon, you're going to see these roller derby ones. So it's kind of like Pokemon cards. You want to collect them all. Right. And then the cool thing too that I forgot to mention, if you back both campaigns, there's actually a print that you can get that has the 2 main characters. So you'll get June and Maggie Dean on it, and the costume swapped. So Maggie's a little not excited to be wearing negligee, and June's having a good old time with it. Yeah, I love that one for June.
Covers are so hard to choose from. Fire all around,
yeah,
fire down below.
Yeah. I feel like you should see a doctor about that.
We're gonna have to like really carefully pick, or like, is there a deal where you can like get a selection of covers, or do you have to like add them on individually? How did you guys come up with the method to structure the campaign? Was that you? Was that Mike? How much input did you have?
Mike, he shares the campaigns with us because he builds them and he'll share them on the Bad Bug chat. He does have one, I believe, that has the whole kit and caboodle that you can get. I'm not sure offhand what exactly that's priced at. But yeah, he extrapolates all that fun stuff and tries to figure out the pricing. Again, I stay out of that because I'm not running the business, so whatever he chooses, I trust him on it. So.
There's roller derby uniforms, and then there's the sitting in a circle themed ones. Well, I could make a joke about sitting places, but this is a family show, right?
Is it though?
No, not at all. What were you going to say? Oh, so these are the tiers?
Yes, we have issue 1.
Also, estimated delivery October 2022 is September 2022. Those are right around the corner. You guys are really like stepping up your game as far as fulfillment. You're going to put Armin to shame because he's like the fastest gun on Kickstarter right now. He gets them out like just a couple of weeks after the campaign closes. But this is fast. October for a campaign this big.
Yeah, we're really trying to shift how we do things. Mike really wants to push for us to have, if not the entire book done, most of the book done by the time we do crowdfunding. We learned our lessons kind of the hard way. Dead End Moon 1, it took not a year, but I think just shy of 1 to get that art done. In Gwen's defense, she was raising a child, she was a first-time mother. The fact she pumped it out as fast as she did was impressive.
Yeah.
The baby or the book?
Both, yeah. As soon as that baby was out, she was drawn again. But no, he's cutting, bringing the hammer down, making sure that we have at least most of the books done by the time, because people don't want to wait. that long. So yeah, all the nice covers and yeah.
And then you got all the naughty covers, right? You got all the naughty covers.
It's $225 for all of the.
I mean, there is some upcharge. You gotta.
Well, the Holochrome Kickstarter exclusive
and the
one. And then if you do 400, you get the whole kit and caboodle.
We got Odin in the house from Nine Realms Publishing. Jay Burns asks, that awesome title really pops off the covers. Is that a Dave Lentz design?
Out of all the things we can give Dave credit for, I don't think we can give him credit for that one. I think that's actually an Alice Teener. That's an original by Alice. I think she drafted that one. I'm not sure somebody. I think somebody maybe like tightened it up a little bit, but she came up with that initial concept and design.
We got 24 Eyes in the house as well. Thank you so much for tuning in. He is always watching. And Sean Butler says, I don't mind waiting for good books. Well, then you must be happy with our book that's like how many months late now?
But they're coming. They're coming. I know this is the proof. It's not the...
Yeah.
But
that looks good, though.
Uh-oh.
I had a Kickstarter that took a year to get to me. There are people who've been waiting for like 2 years on certain Indiegogos. We're not going to talk about those now.
Yeah, the logo is really good. The title.
Alice is amazing. Awesome. That's so good. I mean, absolutely. I demand to wait longer.
Okay, just for you.
I will hold yours in reserve. Just special for you.
Hold it ransom. Yep.
So this certainly isn't your first crowdfunding rodeo, and you are really doing well with HyperGeist. It is, a treat to see those numbers just jumping off the page. What do you say is the most important part of running a successful crowdfunding campaign?
Transparency, I think, is a big part. That's really pushed at Bad Bug. Mike expects us to do pretty frequent, and rightfully so, updates, because that's the biggest thing is when you give somebody your money and then they ghost you for like a year and they're like, oh yeah, we have a book, do you want it? So we very much try to keep things transparent. We try to keep people up to date, so that's probably key.
Transparency. That's a good answer. I like that. Doing regular updates, communicating with your backers, making sure that you get to all concerns, answering questions, interfacing, just like this, interfacing with other people, talking about your book, getting people who are excited about your book in the chats, talking to other people, encouraging them to back the book. All of that, is an important part. Will Bad Bug potentially ever be moving any of the stuff that they do on Kickstarter in demand on Indiegogo? You know how you run the campaign on Kickstarter, then it closes. You can just port it over in demand, or are you guys going to be selling primarily off of your website?
We have done a few. I think Vanya's primarily the main one that's gone over. I think Vanya 1 and 2 have both been using Indiegogo. I plan to do it with Periwinkle once the inks are completely done. We'll probably start that up to start ordering with that. I think Mike's testing the water on it still to see how he feels about it. But yeah, it has been dabbled in and successfully for both Vanyas. So I see that happening for sure. But yeah, the website too is always available as well. So
yeah, you guys have a nice website. We're currently like reworking ours. We're moving it from WordPress to Shopify and just like retweaking everything, changing out all of the graphics, just in general updating everything. And we're going to be launching the Mavericks website soon. So, it's always of interest to see what other people are doing with their web pages. Now I got a question about digital. It's probably something Mike would be maybe, I don't know, like a little bit more, interested to answer. I don't know if I want to use the word like qualified because, he's the publisher and whatnot.
I mean, that's true.
How are you guys doing digital distribution? Like, how are you sending out your digital copies and then making them available for other people to read once it's all fulfilled?
I think just Dropbox links. Honestly, I don't think there's anything too more in depth than that. I don't know what his plans are as far as expanding the digital realm for Bad Bug. I wish I had better answers for the true inner workings.
That's okay, man.
But you're
Hashtag just a writer, right?
Honestly, dude, that's why they call us just a writer.
Right. I mean, I get it. I understand. I have to wear the hat of the guy who, like, runs the company and stuff sometimes, but I definitely know where it's at with the just focus on the writing and get the work done. Because you're on, like, what, 4, at least 5 titles? 5 right now? Is that, am I counting correctly?
I got Red Scare, HyperGeist, Perry.
Oh yeah, I didn't count Cupid.
Monster World, Cupid. Yeah, probably 6 or 7 or 8.
Like so yeah, just a writer, but writing everything. So it's like I should just ask you questions about the script and stuff, and I will while we're going into our last 10 minutes. What is the best part of writing comics for you?
Oh, shoot. That's a tough one. I just love, honestly, I think too, if I have someone to bounce it off of, I love kind of like jam sessions, creative jam sessions with people. Like, oh, it'd be cool if we did this. It'd be cool if we did that. I think that's probably my favorite part. A lot of times I don't have that. It's just me, or I'll take it to my wife, be like, what do you think about if Cupid fought with the boogeyman? What do you think about that? Stuff like that. So I think the initial jam sessions are probably my favorite part. Once I have direction and stuff, it goes pretty seamless. Unfortunately, I'm not the type to like, rough it out or have. I see like a lot of writers that have these beautiful diagrams for the story, and I'm kind of jealous because I'm like, I can't operate like that. Maybe I'm just not organized enough. But I think probably just the initial kind of catalyst and creation is my favorite part.
Sort of like just starting to brew the sauce and add stuff together and really fleshing out the ideas before the writing starts, before the typey happens. I'm right there with you, man. I love like simmering the sauce and getting the juices flowing and really coming up with a cool idea and structuring the outline and then just handing it to somebody and be like, okay, just go write the rest. Like do the scene layout, do the dialogue. That's on you, man. I mean, I enjoy doing my own book, but like when it comes to jumping in and getting like the exciting stuff going for multiple titles, I don't have the patience or the the desire to really like do the minutia. So somebody like you, like this is why I'm saying like you and Mike working together, that sounds like a match made in heaven, because you enjoy the jam session, but you also take on the workload and responsibility of getting all that other stuff done, which is a huge boon at a company like Bad Bug. What's been your biggest challenge crowdfunding so far, and how'd you overcome it?
I mean, as I've been with Bad Bug, it's been pretty seamless, and it's a heaven sent too. My very first crowdfunding was with Everett Forge, my own book, and it got to it was so bad and so horribly received that I honestly contemplated giving up then and there. So I have to like take my hat off and thank Lee and Mike for kind of pulling me out of that, because I was like, okay, clearly I don't have what it takes to make this work. So that one was a bad enough failure that it really hit me hard. So, but other than that, I mean, everything's Bad Bug's been great.
Jay asks, has anyone at Bad Bug thought about doing like a traditional superhero book? And is there any interest in doing that from any of you?
I can't speak for everyone. I know I want to avoid it. It's a very saturated market. And I don't know how much I could contribute to it. I would love to do something that kind of deconstructs the whole universe, similar to like the Bad Boy or the Boys, or Umbrella Academy, for instance. I love those. Those are particularly. But I think as far as adding to like the Marvel and stuff like that, I don't think, there's plenty of superheroes, and I think we're more interested in creating haunted highways and supernatural bounty hunters.
I mean, those are very cool.
Yes, indeed. So do you have any like tool or tips for tools of the trade, advice for any of the wannabe comic creators out there who are, up and comers trying to take the leap?
I think mostly don't give up like I almost did. Surround yourself with people you trust, people who you believe will guide you properly. Be open to criticism. Like I said with Periwinkle, I went through like, two 80-page scripts, and Mike looked at him. He's like, "It's good, but it's not great." And it's a gut punch. What you spent, 80 pages can take a long ass time to write. So, just be open to that. Be willing to adapt, and take criticism. Again, Bad Book Chat's full of criticism. So, but I think it makes us better writers at the end of the day.
Jay's very glad that you didn't give up, and I am too, because now we got so many books coming out of you, and that's great.
Appreciate you guys.
Sean says, "I'd love to see Scott write a supernatural firefighter story." It's pretty specific, right?
Oh wow!
I don't want to say what that reminds me of because I'll get crucified by Mo Biggs. So, do you have any? If you could write a book with anybody today. Working in comics, either a writer to partner up with or an artist to draw pictures for what you write, who would it be? Do you have any ideas?
If we're talking, anyone on the Bad Bug team, I've asked to collaborate with them. I'd love to do something. My main goal, I want to do like an adventure type story similar to The Mummy. So I've been kind of poking the shoulders of all the different guys in Bad Bugs. I'd love to do something like that because it really hasn't been a good adventure story, in my opinion, or movie at least, in quite some time. But if I could do like celebrity status, Cullen Bunn, I mentioned earlier, I fangirl over that guy. Sean called it out. Yeah. Totally. Because he did one of my favorite series, Six Gun. So if I could, I just want to meet him or just talk to him.
Yeah, I know.
To write with him would be next level. But yeah, anybody, honestly, I'd love to. I just love to write. So whoever wants to write with me, just reach out.
Jay's not wrong. The Mummy movie still holds up. The first one, first one does.
The first one, yeah. I don't count the next two. It's only number one. Yeah.
There was like Uncharted, but that didn't really become a movie. That was a game, like that. There wasn't like a good.
There was
book,
that
like
movie, with Tom Holland. It wasn't great.
It was a good movie.
I didn't see it. I don't know it exists.
Like,
all right. So, other than Go Back, HyperGeist, and Dead End Moon, do you have any final words for our audience before we end the broadcast?
They did make an Uncharted movie, Mobig says.
Yeah, but like that's what I said. They it was a game.
Yeah,
right?
it wasn't good.
Movie,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. I just want to thank. I want to thank you guys. Your support has been instrumental. Everybody who's reached out and supported our books, Jay and Sean, love them. They've been with us since day one. Just everyone, you guys. The only reason Bad Bug exists is because people like you guys, and the support that you give. So just, I can't begin to describe what that means, especially helping me get Periwinkle made, because he's been living in my head for far too long. So I finally got him out. So, and I'm very much excited to show the world Cupid once we start working on that. So, but yeah, again, just love you guys. Love everybody. Really appreciate your help.
Right on, man. We're always happy to help, especially when you got good books and a passion for those books. So, with that said, everybody, definitely go check these books out. We will be backing them. I need more sexy covers in my life. I know Frequency Girl has been eyeballing some herself.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna go argue about which ones we're
we definitely will. I might just spring for come on. HyperGeist is like hyper, right? So,
HyperGeist is very much up his alley. I'm all in on Dead End Moon.
So you got us, you got both audiences, right? Yeah. It's smart. You guys are smart. Yeah. So, thanks so much for everybody tuning in and hanging out with us in the chat. Thank you so much to our awesome guest, Scott from Bad Bug. Don't forget to like the video, and if you enjoyed the content, you can subscribe, I guess. We're still on the road.
Away from 500.
Trying to get to that 500 marker milestone. Yeah, and if you do subscribe, you can always click the bell for notifications when we go live.
And tune into the frequency.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye, guys. See you later.